Hey guys, so I get the question asked of me a lot, why does it cost so much to have my swimming pool plastered? One guy says 3 grand, the other guy says 20. Well, let's have a look at what actually goes into pool plastering first, and then let's see why some guys do it cheaper than others. So I'm Jason, Pool Envy of course. I deal with professional pool installation, commercial pool installation, residential, and I do pool plastering. So one of the things that makes my prices a lot higher is overhead. Having a shop, having a business license, being legitimate, all of those things factor into costs, and it's just something you can't do without. In Florida, for example, you can be fined. It can be a misdemeanor if you get caught once. It can be a felony if you get caught twice, plastering without a pool license. In fact, you can't even drain a pool without a license. So just keep that in mind as we go about our adventure. All right, so where do we start? So my company, we have a plaster truck. You can see this thing's big, but just for comparison sakes here, it's actually a pretty good sized 35-foot long truck. And on the back of this truck, we actually have not one, but 2 plaster mixers, because 2 is always better than 1, at least in our logic. What we do with that is it allows us to do our coats in layers so that we don't have chunky, messed up, ugly looking bottoms. And what can happen is a lot of the low prices that come in to beat us and try to compete with us, they're mixing inside of these things. Barrels and barrels. And the thing is, we work with capacity. So we can mix a whole lot of plaster in one of these, but we can mix a whole lot more plaster in 2 of those. And what it also lets us do is blend the plaster. We're not mixing stuff, we're not stirring it, we're actually blending it. We have sharp knives inside of here that are cutting away at it. They're not scraping it, they're not burning plaster like you would if you were mixing it in a barrel, because barrels are for monkeys, not for professional plaster installations. So this unit is powered hydraulically. There's a big motor on the back of the truck that runs this. And after we mix our plasters with the proper chemicals, we have add-ins that we add to make things better, of course. The cheat system that the pros don't know about, because we are the pros and we keep our secrets secret. So we have a pump down here, and we're able to divert plaster from either one of these, and we send it to the customer swimming pool. So we pump our plaster. It allows us to get it properly sprayed into a swimming pool. We're not just mixing barrels and throwing it in buckets at the side of the pool. You know why that is not effective? Because you have no way to control the thickness or quality of it. You're just hoping for the best. And the other thing about these big, gigantic barrels here, when you mix inside of those, how do you gauge consistency? We're mixing 8-9 bags at a time there. They're not mixing that inside of a 50-gallon barrel in the bottom of the pool. We control the water, we control the cement, we control the mix that goes in, we control any add-ins that go into our mixes, we control any retarders or accelerators that go in. For example, we have a couple products that we use to help us cure our concrete a little differently so that we don't get dusting. And all of these things have specific ratios. So we know our batch size, and it's not something you can guess at. We, of course, are all CL Industries plaster. That's what we use, and that's all we're going to use because we love it. It's great, and it has everything in it that we need to ensure that the plaster doesn't come off of the pool and that it stays stuck to the walls properly once it's cured. And so when you're looking for a pool guy, you got to find out, is it just some guy working out of the garage or a big garage? That's fine. But do they have the equipment to make this happen? Some of the other things, you need a good sized forklift here. This little tiny pallet over here, for example, of pool plaster there, that's about 3,000 pounds. It's very heavy. So this stuff's not easy to maneuver, it's not easy to throw around. And we buy our stuff in quantity for the pools that we're working on. And by doing that, it gives us the ability to ensure the quality, because a lot of people will buy the stuff from warehouses where it sits. It might be humid, it might not be properly temperature controlled, and the batches might not all match up. They may have problems in them, and so on and so forth. Some of the other things, though, that take into consideration with plaster guys. Again, we said we have a plaster truck here, but we have to follow all of these very stringent regulations, the USDOT. We have a big truck here. It's 33,000 pound rated. This requires a CDL, or a commercial driver's license. And having a commercial driver's license requires commercial driving insurance, and property insurance, and liability insurance, and this has to be registered with the state that we operated in. And that doesn't even account crossing state lines. This is just to keep this truck within a 100-mile radius of our shop. And there's a lot of rules that we have to follow to ensure that things are done right. So keep that in mind next time you're looking for who's the cheapest, who's the best. You have to look for the people who can do the job correctly, have the crews, and also the exposure. So one of the other things, and I'm not going to give away all of our secrets because that's what Water Shape U is for, and that's what our trainers are for. We're not going to give away the whole farm. You have to get into the industry. You have to do the industry right. You can't just cut your way to the top. It's very impossible, trust me. Or don't trust me, just go ahead, dive in, both hands forward and try to copy us. It doesn't work. So this is one of our secret weapons we use for washing pools when we're done. After you're done plastering and going through all the steps to get your pool properly plastered, you have to expose the plaster. And then you have to wash all of the latex products out of it. What the heck does that mean, and why are you talking about that? One of the biggest complaints we get from consumers, customers alike, my pool looks chalky. It said it's going to take 28 days to start it up. The pool guy has to come over and brush my pool every single day. And these rumors they're all over the internet. Any forum you go on, it's just incessant. And I'm here to tell you that's not the truth. We can actually wash a pool with our products after the pool is cured. 3 days later, you can be swimming. Actually, 2 days later if you really want to push buttons. But the pool needs a day to dry out, the latent material to come to the surface. We wash all of that off, and we're not going to see that dusting again. And keep in mind, we're adding some products into the mix to do that. But when we're done, we're done. You're not going to wait, though, 28 days to enjoy your swimming pool. I can come to your house on June 1st, and you can be swimming that weekend. Keep that in mind. And remember, there's a lot of good pool plasterers out there. There's a lot of folks at Water Shape U who are working really hard to help get this through the industry and show people how to do things the correct way. And I hope to any plaster guy out there who's just saying, hey, I'm going to keep mixing in barrels and do stuff my way because it's cheap, I hope you stop, because delaminating is going to cost you a lot of money down the road. Times have changed, but also the materials themselves. A lot of this concrete has technological advances to it, and that's just in the last year. And a lot of these are going to come to bite you in the butt if you do things the way you've always been doing it. So there. So remember, you're looking for quality plaster, but what's more important than all of that is ensuring that when that plaster is done, when that plaster is cured, that plaster is washed properly. And I don't, for the love of me, want anyone to go with muriatic acid ever, because it's vile, vicious, and dangerous stuff. And why is that? Because muriatic acid is a waste acid product. It's hydrochloric acid, and it is designed to be dangerous. Here, let me show you, just so you guys are clear. This is not something you want to use on your swimming pool. It says swimming pool on there to control pH, but you see here, it says concrete etching, cleaning of brick, and metal cleaning. And when you put that on brand new plaster, the same day you install the plaster, the manufacturer's warranty is void. Boom, done. So go find the cheaper guy. Do a $5,000 plaster install. Let them wash it with muriatic acid that day. No warranty. Just like those episodes on TV where you invest your money and it's gone. Just like that, just that easy. Ignorance, stupidity, looking for the lowest bottom dollar, it will cost you. You have to be educated in this industry. Remember, this doesn't happen overnight. This is a lot of training. Getting this stuff to work properly is a lot of training. Getting this stuff to work properly is a lot of money. Getting this stuff to work properly is a lot of coordination between a lot of teams, a lot of employers, a lot of staff, a lot of crews, and a lot in the industry. Because every little thing with these that can go wrong will go wrong. And it's until you have an effective team together that can make it happen, you'll never see good results. So remember, don't look for the cheapest bottom dollar. Look for the person who can compete with the next guy on the same level, and then see who's the best value out of the two. And remember, swim safe. Take care.